positional areas, quarterback, offensive, defensive line. If you fall below that, then that could trip something. The institution in that case would have the ability to say, you know what, we'd like to go ahead and compete. That would be at their discretion. If there's positivity rate issues that are tripped, there's no discussion on that. Then it's a shutdown.
All right. Next, Chris Vanini, your microphone is open.
Hey, John. If a game gets called off, are there possibilities of rescheduling the weekend of the championship game, or will it just be declared a no contest and that's it?
No, there will be the week of our championship game will be only the championship game, so that last week of the regular season, Saturday, December 12th, will be the final regular season games. If we have games that end up having to be canceled, depending on the timing of that, if there is the opportunity to recreate games from teams that do not have issues, we will try and facilitate that, but we will take that on a week-by-week and game-by-game basis.
And how do you feel about having the 4 weekly tests? That's the most, obviously, outside the Big Ten and the Pac-12. Why was that number important in the decision to return playing?
Well, that's where our medical advisory group ended up for football. We've been, I don't know if we're 3 weeks in or 4 weeks into testing. That has proceeded well. I think our teams are into a good pattern with that. I think we feel comfortable with what we are seeing there. And so I guess that's the best answer I have. It's what was recommended. It's what's been implemented. And so far, so good.
Okay. Austin, your line should be open.
Thanks, guys. Hi, John. How you doing?
Good morning, Austin.
Good morning. Just going back real quick, positivity rates. Is there a specific number, or I guess percentage, that would trip a game to be shut down, or does that kind of vary by institution?
No, it's consistent, and it's based on a 7-day rolling average of tests. Okay. And so there's a greater than 5% rate for the team, and greater than 7.5% rate for the team party. And both of those would have to be tripped. Both of those would have to hit those marks to trigger an automatic shutdown. And then there's various levels under that which might trigger other actions.
Okay. And just as a quick follow-up, is there any particular figure throughout the entire institution as a whole, or is that not factored in?
No, right now that is not factored in. We were looking solely at the team issues, which isn't to say if you have community or institutional issues that there might be another discussion, but that's not an automatic tripping point right now.
Got it. Thank you.
Ashley, did you have another question? If so, your line is open.
Nope, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Chris, how about you? I think your hand is raised here. I'll just check you out here. Chris, do you have a follow-up?
I'm all good, thanks.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, is there any other questions for Commissioner Steinbrecher this morning? If so, please raise your hand. We have a couple more minutes if there are. Seth Berry, your microphone is now open.
Hey, John, how you doing this morning?
Hi, Seth.
Hey, I was just wondering if there was any possibility. I know Nebraska just explored an out-of-conference game with Chattanooga in the Big Ten. So if there's any possibility if a game were to get canceled or called off, if MAC teams could explore any of those possibilities during the season.
Well, that is not our intention. We said we want to play conference games, but we would take that on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you.
question here. Ralph Russo, your line is open.
Morning, John. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Ralph.
Okay. This is kind of an existential question. What do you consider a successful season over the next couple of months?
Handing out a championship trophy in a month and a half. And seeing our student athletes and coaches and all other participants come through in a healthy and safe fashion.
Well, good luck, John. I hope it all works out for everyone.
All right, if there's no further questions, Commissioner Steinbrecher, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see them all next week on Wednesday night.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, next we're going to bring on head coach of Western Michigan, Tim Lester. Let's see here, Lester, about a minute to go here, but all right. You can join in the call, use the raise hand feature should you have a question, and we will take those questions as they come in. Coach Lester, just want to start with every coach, just an opening statement. It's been a roller coaster, clearly, of everything, and just take us through that journey and kind of where your team sits today and how you feeling coming into next Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a journey, marathon more than a sprint, and our guys have, obviously, just like everyone else's, have been through a lot, trying to navigate what spring looked like, what summer looked like. We got back in July. We're doing a pretty good job, I think, and then we got shut off, back on, and so luckily we have a lot of guys that have played. I think we have really strong leadership on this team, so and it'll change. And it kept changing, and we tried to keep our knees bent, and then finally got the green light to get started, and it's been fun. It's been about 3.5 weeks now we've been going, and the guys are just excited to have some normalcy. I think everyone's excited to have some normalcy, so practice feels normal, and so it's been a lot of fun out there. There's little nuances with wearing masks and stuff like that out there, but it has been fun to watch them get to play the game that they love to play.
Again, if you have a question for Coach Lester, just use the raise hand feature. First, we will go to Casey Campbell. Your microphone is open.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hey, Coach. Hey, Tim. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, Casey. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. So, we're heading into a season where not many people expected to have. What has it been like over there on campus, and how are you preparing for a season unlike any other?
I think in unique situations like this, and we've always preached communication. There's no such thing as over communication. So I have been, transparent with my team on every turn. There's been a lot of twists and turns as this could happen and this could happen. We got to be ready for this. We got to be ready for that. And it's been everything's been different, from the way we check in to the way we move through the building to the way we take the field. We're entering from different places than we used to enter. So it's and our guys, everyone says discipline and accountability wins football games, and nowadays discipline and accountability is the only way to even have a football team. I mean, if they don't do those things, then you're in trouble. And the testing and all the things that these guys are required to do, it's a lot on their shoulders. And our guys have executed brilliantly and have been, not to say we haven't had issues here and there, but they listen and they get better. And we've done a great job. We're lucky our school has done an unbelievable job with testing. We have an unbelievable system, and we get results fast, and our guys have done a good job thus far controlling the bubble around them, as that's the way I put it. And they're starting to get excited now. Obviously, we're inside a week of having a chance to play. And so it has definitely been the most unique thing we've ever gone through. And we're just excited to get that chance to play.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Good luck this year.
Thanks.
Next, we go to Chris Vanini. Chris, your microphone is open.
Hey Tim, how's it going?
I'm doing good, Chris. How are you?
Good. How you feeling about the offense this year? Obviously, Caleb takes over back at quarterback. You've got Dwayne hopefully healthy again. How you feeling about that side of the ball?
Yeah, I'm happy with where we're at. I mean, we have a lot of talented players. Our offensive line has a ton of starts. It's probably our biggest offensive line we've had since we've been here. The biggest question mark was Wesley French moving from defense to offense. He's been unbelievable. Obviously, he's going to be a lawyer someday. He's adapted to playing offensive line. He did play offensive line a couple years ago. He was behind Luke Juriga, who's with the Eagles now. So we put him in D-line just so he could play more, and now he's back to playing center and doing a great job. He's kind of got a tackle body, but he's playing center. He's smart enough to get us going in the right direction. And then, we got a new quarterback, and that's going to always be a question when you have a guy who's only played, I think that's 5 games under his belt. And then Nick Karjman, our young kid, has challenged him. It's been a good battle. But it's a fun team to be a young quarterback on. I mean, we have talented running backs, a talented O-line, and Sky Moore and D. Eskridge on the edges along. We have a good group of wide receivers with speed. And so, hopefully, we can surround a young quarterback with as much talent as humanly possible, and let him go to work, And so Jalen Hall's had a great camp, and Deshaun Bustle's had a great camp. So he's got the weapons around him, and we have to protect him. We have to run the ball like we always do. And Sean Tyler and Jackson Kincaid and Ladarius Jefferson have had a good camp at running back. So, we have all the coaches back on offense too, really on both sides of the ball. So it's there's some familiarity on what we're doing. And so it's been fun to watch those guys gel. And it's definitely different without John. When you have one guy for 3 years, things change. But I'm excited to watch those guys get out there and compete together.
And how much of an emphasis is there, even though it's kind of a short season, but finishing the season strong with the way the last couple of years have gone?
Yeah, we've been short. I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's not something we shy away from, how we finished and how we didn't get the job done at the end. It's hard enough to get yourself to that point. A lot of teams would love to be to the point where they get to the last game and it matters. And we've been there 2 years in a row, and so that's I want it to be a chip on their shoulder, and we talk about it all the time. And it's definitely different because it's not a 12-game season, it's a 6-game season. We really focused on how do we have a training camp that we can start in mid-season form. It's really hard. This was the most, I can tell you this was the most difficult, and I probably should have said this earlier, the most difficult training camp I've ever been a part of, because everybody came in at different levels of being in shape. And normally when your strength coach hands you your team, they're all in shape. I mean, they're ready. They've gone through a whole summer of running. So trying to get them ready to play football and get them in shape at the same time has been an unbelievable challenge. It's been kind of fun. But yeah, so it's been, we've been talking about how do we start well and obviously how we finish, because that's been one of the things we haven't done well and we need to grow with.
Appreciate it, Tim.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, next, Austin Chastain. Your microphone is open.
Hey there, Tim. How you doing?
I'm good, Austin. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on Central Michigan. I mean, I'm very familiar with the rivalry. But is there maybe a little bit of a different hunger given how things played out last year? You guys beat them pretty handily at home, and then they go on and win the division. Is there even a more, I guess, tenacious hunger? I guess that's not the right word, but I think you kind of know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. I don't know. To be honest with you, it's always there. I mean, it wouldn't matter if we were undefeated and they didn't have a win, or vice versa. The Central Western game, you can throw out the records. I think everyone knows that. I really enjoyed through this pandemic, getting to know Coach McElwain better, and we've talked a lot about what are you guys doing up there. Obviously, we're in the same. When you talk about all the different things that these schools are dealing with, so much of it is state related. So I have talked to him a lot. What are you guys doing there? Because they're under the same restraints that we are. So we've had a really good, opportunity to talk a lot about how to get through this thing for the sake of football. But we know when Central plays Western, it means more when I think when both teams are rated fairly high. But I don't know if it ever matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, it is what it is. We're excited to go there and play. Obviously, he did Coach McElwain did a great job last year and got him to the championship game, and they finished really strong and we didn't, and we got to go up there and play in their place, which is going to be tough. And so I mean, if that adds a little bit extra, great. But it's always the biggest game for us, and that's the game we always try to circle and say that's one of the things you got to do when you're a coach at Western is that's the game, and it always will be. And we're excited for it. Again, it doesn't happen until week 3, but we're excited for that opportunity when it comes.
So one more question here, because your time's coming up here. But Michael Ray guy, Michael, your microphone is open. Maybe muted here, but.
Good morning, Tim. You're looking well. Good to see you.
How are you, sir?
Sir, hanging in, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Levante Bellamy, Tim. I mean, the last couple of years, you've had one of the most dominant running backs in all of Division I college football. And you mentioned Tyler and Kincaid and Jefferson, but Tim, would you say that, given everything that Levante accomplished solely pretty much, is this going to have to be a more of a volume by committee? Is that how you and the offensive coaches are looking at the running back room?
We always would like to do it that way. I mean, Bells was a part of a committee for his first 3 years. It was just last year he was so far and away the best one that we kind of made him the workhorse, and he wanted that too. And so I think we'll go back to more of our traditional. I want to say our first 2 years I was coaching here, we had 2 all-conference running backs first year and 2 the second year because we rotated so much. And then last year we just played one guy and he was the player of the year. So, Sean Tyler is an exciting young back. You can ask Levante about him, and Levante will tell me he's a better young me. He's got to develop like Levante did, but he's an exciting guy. But with Kincaid and with Ladarius, and we got a couple more guys too. So it's definitely going to be more like it was our first couple years here. Figure out who has the hot hand, lean on them. If one of them, distances himself from the rest of the pack, then maybe he becomes more of the workhorse. But I think it's better, especially this is a different season with 6 games. When you're going 12 games, 13 games, 14 games, you've got to have multiple people ready to go. But we definitely do see ourselves going more back into the having a committee of running backs that every time we hand the ball to a guy, he's fresh and he's ready to put his shoulder down and run through people. And so yes, I do think we're going to be headed that direction. And like I said, if one distances himself, then that guy will get more carries.
I thank you for your time this morning, Coach Lester. Best of luck getting the season going here. We'll see you Wednesday night.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Next, we will hear from Toledo head football coach Jason Handel. All right. We got you, Coach. Check to see if we can hear you all right.
Good?
Yep, we're all good.
Awesome.
All right. Coach Handel, thank you for joining us this morning. First off, just talk about, the range and the excitement of, the range of emotions and getting to now look at a game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's certainly been a roller coaster, as it has been for everybody that's tried to put this together. So, I think first and foremost, on behalf of our team, a thank you to the conference and to all the administrators and all the presidents that put a lot of hard work and energy into making this thing happen, because I think this is something that our kids have worked really hard for, and I know the other schools in our league, from talking to their head coaches, their kids have been chomping at the bit and really busted their tail to try to get ready to do. So it's been very different, obviously. I think there's, in the world of a football player, you wake up every day and you search for clarity and certainty, because that's what our schedule, that's what our regimen, and that's what our routine looks like. Preparing for this and going through this process has been anything but that. So give our kids a lot of credit, for what they've been able to handle and what they've been able to endure, and our staff and the people in this building are really doing a great job trying to make sure that we stay as safe as possible and go out and give our kids a chance to do what they love to do. Like I said, we're excited for it and looking forward to it.
Great. First, we will go to Joel Gadet. Joel, your microphone is open.
Hey, Jason.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just like a general comment or question from the scope of where we're at in college football right now, but how do you grapple with or kind of rectify in your mind a situation where you expect to play 6 games, you could be playing 3, and how that changes kind of the landscape of what your year could look like and what the league could look like when someone plays X number of games and somebody else plays Y?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first and foremost, you kind of fits with what our program is designed to do and what we try to preach to our kids all the time, and that's to control what you can control. I think there's a lot of things out there that are out of our control and out of our touch and out of our reach, and we have to do a great job of making sure that we win what's important to us first and foremost each day, and that's fighting the invisible enemy that is this virus and handling that part of it the right way, and doing a good job with our protocols and our safety precautions that have been put in place to allow us to go practice. And once we get out on the practice field, doing a great job of just making sure that we handle it from an individual level on the importance of getting better, and really just challenging our guy to keep the main thing the main thing, our guys to keep the main thing the main thing. And that's just, like I said, just trying to make sure we do the best job from a protocol standpoint, and then whatever our job is and our responsibility on the football field, doing that to the best of our ability. All the stuff down the road that could come up or the hypotheticals that could happen, I think we'd be crazy to sit and worry about those things, because you see that all over college football. I'm sure there's games canceled every weekend, like you mentioned. I'm sure there'll be a couple more this week. It's just part of what the world we're living in right now. You have to be able to pivot and adapt and overcome the adversity and make the changes. So, and that's a good microcosm of what life is for these young people. So I think this has been it's been a tough process, but I think it's been an exciting one in a lot of ways as well.
Okay, next, Ashley Bastock, your microphone's open.
Hey, Jason. I wanted to ask specifically about the BG rivalry, and I know you've talked about it a little bit this preseason, but less than a week out from it, I guess just how have you seen them maybe use that game from last year as motivation? Because obviously knowing just what the rivalry means to your program and their program.
Well, you can't not pay attention to it, because everywhere you turn around, somebody's reminding you that you lost to them last year. So it's part of where we're at. It's part of this, Bowling Green, Toledo situation that we're in. We're schools that are located within 30 miles of each other. We're in proximity. It's really important to both communities. It's very important to our city. It's very important to both alumni bases. And it's a very competitive game. In my opinion, it's the premier game in this league. And I've been a part of it now for a long time. This is year 12 for me going into this game. So I've seen it where it's been, one team is predicted to win by a lot of points, and you don't win the game. And I think there's been lots of times where the game is predicted to be very close, and the score doesn't, always indicate that. So it's definitely a game that has a lot of importance, and one it's been on our minds since the time that clock hit 0 last year at this time.
Steve Helwick, your microphone's open.
Hi, Coach. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, Steve. Good morning.
Last year, the injury bug really bit your team, and that started before the season with Bryce Harris. What have you seen from Bryce in his return from injury, and how is he looking for game shape Wednesday?
Yeah, well, I think, that's you downplay that injury and you try to push it to the side like it didn't happen at the time last year, because it was such terrible timing, and you have to get a team ready to play. Kentucky didn't care if we our all-conference center was playing or not. So, we had to treat it as such. But really, that was a major loss for us. I mean, that's the guy that touches the ball in every play. That's the guy that's the communicator. That's the guy that's making all the calls on the line. Not to mention what he's brought to our football team off the field. He's a multi-year captain. Was voted the captain again this year, and rock solid student, a guy that's already has his undergrad degree and pursuing his master's degree, and a guy that's very active in our community. He's the bell cow, arguably the bell cow of our football program. So when you lose that guy, it's more than just a center. It's more than just a offensive lineman. It's more than just an all-conference football player. It's a major piece. So I give Luke Durger a ton of credit because he went in and played fine last year at center, played really well at times, and did a really good job. So, but to get Bryce back, have Luke to have some experience in there at center, provides a little bit of depth at that position. It's been awesome to have him back. His energy at practice is outstanding, and it's infectious to everybody else when he's out there. So it's been a major boost.
Next, we'll go to Chris Vanini. Chris, your microphone is open.
Yeah, Jason, you made a number of pretty big-name defensive hires, shoring up that side of the ball. You have a number of starters back. How do you feel about the defense?
Well, like every part of our team, I think we're a work in progress. And progress is obviously very positive. We probably more than anybody in the situation that we're in needed spring football, needed a true traditional summer to help those guys get acclimated and get them familiarized with our guys. So not having that was a little bit of a setback, but I think we did a really good job with our kids of keeping things simple and really finding a base fundamental philosophy of what we wanted to get accomplished defensively. We have 3 years ago, back in 18, we were playing 5 freshmen on defense. Last year, those guys were 5 sophomores, and now those guys are going to be 5 juniors, and you add the new coordinators in there. There is changes for them. There is some unfamiliarity there, but those guys are veteran guys now, and they are in their 3rd year of playing. So they've handled it well. I give them a lot of credit. I give those guys and on that staff on the defensive side of the ball a lot of credit because they've gelled together very well. And they've really put a belief system into our kids that they can go out and play championship defense here. And I think that's where it starts. Now you got to go do it and you got to go prove it. But if you believe you can do it, you always have a better chance. And I think we're in a good spot right now. And the longer this thing goes and the more time that they can spend together, the better off we're going to be.
Last question here before we get you going is from Michael Regai. Michael, your microphone is open.
Good morning, Coach Scandal. How are you?
I'm doing great. Flight 23, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. Great to be seeing you and talking to you.
You as well.
Just mentioned a moment ago, you bring in Coach Vince Karras. You have tremendous familiarity with his program, having played there for his father. And what was it, though, that bottom line for you, Jason, that made him the right guy that you feel could pull everything together defensively and get back to where you want to be on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's a very deep one. But I think the thing that sticks out first and foremost is you're always trying to hire winners, okay? And then you're always trying to hire guys that, are ultimately at the end of the day going to put the kids first and try to put them in the best position to be successful, both off the football field and on the field. And I feel like with, that has always been a very strong suit of Vince's. Obviously very dedicated and very committed to doing whatever it takes to win and get it done. And the track record proves that. So having learned football at the same place that I did, and I know at the core of how to practice and what we want to get accomplished, there's a lot of familiarity there and not a ton of new teaching when it comes to that point. So, excuse me. But I think, Vince has done a fine job, and then you add Craig Kuligowski into that mix. Some of the places he's been at some premier places, and throw the fact in that he's a former Rocket himself. There's an investment level, so you feel the importance and the urgency to be better and to be great each and every day. And just the winning mentality that those two guys have brought to that side, I think is noticeable, which then creates a belief system in your kids that if they feel like that's the expectation, that's the standard that you have to operate at to be successful. Now, like I said before, you got to go do it and you got to go prove it. But that belief system and that thought process that we can be very good and play championship defense here, that's definitely a starting point.
I want to thank you once again, Coach Candle, for taking the time this morning to jump on with some of the media. Best of luck next Wednesday night against Bowling Green, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jeremy. Have a great day.
You too. Next, we will bring on head coach of the NIU Huskies, Thomas Hammond. Bring you on here. I think we got you. Just a little mic check there.
How we doing?
Good, good. And thanks for joining us this morning, Coach Hammond. Again, asking every coach to kind of lead off with an opening statement of just how it feels to be getting ready for a game, next Wednesday.
Obviously we're excited to play. I think this has been a long time coming. Much respect to the MAC and the testing protocols. I think they got it right. Obviously this summer, with all the uncertainty, to get to where we are now, I think our team has embraced everything. We got a lot done in a short amount of time. If we go back to, June 15th when it was voluntary, and then going to enhanced training camp, back to enhanced training, and then, a training camp during the semester. Our team has certainly embraced every obstacle. We're excited to play. This has been the most fun I've had coaching in a long time, and can't wait to get started.
Great. First, we'll go a reminder to everyone, if you're just joining, to use the raise hand feature if you do have a question. First, we'll go to Casey Campbell. Casey, your microphone is open.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
Doing good. Good to finally talk to you. So, what do you think you kind of learned in year one, taking over your alma mater, and what can you learn from that and apply it into this year?
Yeah, I think, we gained a lot of valuable information about the program, where it was at, where it needs to go, the type of players we want to have in the program, the mindset we want to have in the program. It's always interesting. I played here. I know how this program was built and the mentality, and I think sometimes when you have success, you may get away from that a little bit, and young men don't understand what it took to get the program to what it was. And so obviously NIU has been has had a great program over the last 10, 12 years. But some of these young guys don't understand what it took to get to that level. I got recruited here, and the program was in the midst of a 0-23 losing streak. So there was a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears that went into this program that sometimes can get lost in the process. And I think our young men fully understand that. They embrace it. And we couldn't be more excited to continue to build on the traditions of this program.
Next, we'll go to Chris Vanini. Chris, your microphone is open.
Thomas, how you doing?
Doing well. How you doing, Chris?
Good. How you feeling about the offense now in year two? Got a lot of guys back, going through some ups and downs in year one. How do you feel about that side of the ball?
Well, I think we got some more playmakers on offense, and I think, we'll be able to feature those guys. Obviously we're playing in November, December. The weather is going to be a factor. I think we got backs that can, make explosive type plays. So, I think the weather conditions is going to be a part of, the style of play that we need to play. It looks like November 4th is going to be a good night. So, hopefully we can, we got a quarterback that's a 6-year senior in Ross Bowers. He has a better command of our offense, and will distribute the ball to the guys that can make plays.
And defensively, probably the secondary is the big question. How do you feel about that group?
Yeah, I think, sometimes, if you coach long enough, you realize perception is not always reality. And, I think we got some guys on defense that have been competing extremely hard. We've had competitive practices, and I think we got guys that's going to be anxious to go out there and show what they can do.
Okay, Brandon Suarez. Brandon, your microphone is open. Get you unmuted here.
Hey, Coach Hammock, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I got a quick question. So what would you say your biggest challenge is in scouting a team that has no game film from the season? Obviously, they bring back a substantial amount of starters, but it's game week. What would you say your biggest challenge is in scouting this Buffalo team?
Well, I think the great thing for us is, I feel like Buffalo is probably the best team on our schedule. And I think, a great way to have our focus. I mean, they got great running backs. They got two quarterbacks that can, throw the ball and win with their legs. They're good up front. They got a wide receiver, number one, who's an excellent playmaker. He can make contested catches. And then defensively, they have the number one run defense in the conference. I mean, they got two edge guys that can rush the quarterback. The linebackers are solid. They lost number 9 on the back end, but this is an excellent football team and a great litmus test for us to see where we're at and see how we match up. And I think our guys will be fired up to play these guys. I mean, I know to me, in my opinion, I rank them as the best team in the MAC, and we're fired up to play them.
Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Michael Ray. Mike, your microphone is open now.
Thomas Hammett, good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Very good, sir. I believe my number said you played 29 freshmen or first-year players a year ago, which is an exceptionally high amount. We know growing pains come with that, but Thomas, how confident are you and the coaches that these young men now got the understanding, and that's going to prove to pay big dividends as they get set for year number 2 in the program?
I think, last year we dealt with a lot of injuries. We lose all 3 of our starting linebackers. We lost a bunch of different guys at different times, and I think the experience that those young players were able to get last year is going to be beneficial, along with, guys that came into the program. We have a lot more depth and competition in the program right now. We have a lot more size and physicality. And the one thing I've expressed to our players is, physicality and toughness knows no age. And so if you bring those qualities, you give yourself an excellent opportunity to compete.
Last question here. Eric Kwiatkowski.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Eric?
Good. For you personally, what would be the biggest jump you would want to see your team make from, year 1 to heading into year 2?
Yeah, I think for us, we want to go out there and compete and make every game competitive. I think, some games got away from us last year. Central Michigan, I thought, Coach McElwain did a fantastic job coaching his football team. I thought they were physical and tough. But we want to go out there and play 4 quarters of Husky football. And I think if we do that, we give ourselves a chance to win. And that's obviously what we want to do.
All right. We have time. If there's any last questions, we have time for one more question. If you have your hand raised. Oh. Brandon, we'll go back to you. Your microphone's open.
Appreciate it. With no fans at Husky Stadium or across the MAC this season, can we expect there to be crowd noise pumped in? And if so, is there certain regulations on how that crowd noise is pumped in?
I know our administration is working on certain things. Obviously, they're going to follow the protocols of the MAC. But, the great thing for us is, we practice with no fans. And so we have to be able to create our own energy. And normally when you're making plays, that creates energy. And so we got to make some plays, make some explosive plays, obviously, both offense, defense, and special teams. And that'll create the energy that we need to play with.
Absolutely appreciate it, Coach.
All right, Coach. Want to thank you again for your time this morning. Best of luck next Wednesday, hosting the Bulls, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Next, we will bring on head coach of the Eastern Michigan Eagles, Chris Creighton. I'm on here. I think we got you there, Coach.
Great.
Good. Good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. Been having every coach kind of explain, put into words after such a long kind of waiting game and ups and downs. Just how good does it feel that you're preparing for a game on Wednesday evening?
Feels great. Yeah, it's been a long year in terms of the ups and downs for sure, and so we believe it when we see it on Wednesday. We're definitely excited and preparing for it. But we've probably learned just to hold everything loosely, go at it, 100%. But just with the way things go, I mean, we've had some major ups and downs, and so
I'll give you a call a little later
Wednesday
today
year.
and uploading my video
We'll
profile.
go to Casey
I will
Campbell.
try
Casey, your
to
microphone is
answer the
open.
questions.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hey, Chris, how are you, man?
But
Good,
if I have
thanks.
a problem, I'll get back to you.
So
period.
let's go into,
I don't
talk
know
about,
if it's just
I
me,
mean,
but it seems like this app has a
what
lot
is
of
it like to
bugs.
finally be back out there, going out to play, just going out and just getting to play this year?
Yeah, I mean, I love to coach. Our staff loves to coach. Our players love football. And so we get, what's going on in the world. But sometimes we get it less than others, selfishly, we've wanted to play. Obviously, want to do it in a way that can not only keep everybody, within our program safe and healthy, but realize that everything that we do impacts other people. But yeah, we love to coach and we love to play football. And so we're, big time excited about being out there. I mean, I remember when in July, I think it was, at some point where we could get out on our own field. I remember when we could get into our weight room sometime in August. I mean, those were like, we won the Super Bowl days, First time that we were back in the building as a staff was sometime in June. Sometime the first time we were back in the building as a team, I mean, may have been August, and then trying to get to a helmets and shoulder pads practice, doing the walkthroughs forever. And so, each of those days were just major highs, and then, obviously some low days too, with cancellations and pauses and all of that.
Next, we'll go to Justin Rose. Justin, your microphone is open.
Hey, Coach, last time we talked to you, I know you were excited, chomping at the bit to get back out on the field. Who are some of the guys maybe that have taken the extra time, maybe off the field, in the weight room, in the prep, that have gotten it and translated it to the field for you, that can be impact players for you guys?
Yeah, first part of your question, I was going to say all the guys who've been in quarantine have done a lot of extra mental work. I promise you that. I don't know if anybody is, I'm sure there have been some, in terms of being unscathed throughout this whole process. Guys had to be very creative and innovative, especially with our strength program. Not being able to get into our weight room. Our strength staff did a great job of setting stuff up outside, once we were able to get back. We literally had guys building gyms in their apartments and buying weights so that they could, train, in the off season. So, I mean, everybody's attacked the weight room since it's been open, really, really hard. And, just in preparation, I just think, I think we had 35 or so new players come on July 6th. And obviously in a real limited, role about how much we could be with them and what we could do. But I feel really good about how, about mentally, about how guys have tried to get better and attack, our offense and defense and special teams. And then practice is practice. I've always felt really good about our culture in terms of our work ethic and our attitude and the attention to detail, the wanting to be there. We had one spring practice in helmets. And so, it was a long time ago, but it's hard to know, exactly where we're at. It's just been such an irregular year in terms of the training. I feel really good about, our decisions and our plans about how to attack things. But we've certainly had some interruptions. And so, we're going to take advantage of every day this last week, that's for sure.
And next, Joel Gadet. Joel, your microphone is open.
Hey, Chris.
How you doing, Joel?
Good. I'm just curious from your perspective, when you're the head coach of a program and there's so much riding on every single one of them, what being tested is like, and just going through the protocol. And like, obviously, you're probably confident in the steps that you take, but just the anxiety of like the 10-minute period between swiping a test and getting a result, and what that's like, knowing what's on the line.
Yeah, so I'm on Team Blaney. Coach Blaney and I are a pod or a pair or a cohort. I mean, there's 17 different names for it. And Team Blaney is undefeated.
Hello.
We are trying to go 1-0 every day that we test.
Good, man. I appreciate you calling me. I wasn't expecting a call. Go ahead.
Sarcasm and trying to play the days
Dixie?
nurses.
There's two on Dixie. We're all independently owned.
Yeah, but
I didn't know that. I'm looking at the one where across from Arby's.
You just don't know. I think, especially early on, like when we got our first
Dixie, Walton and Dixie over there next to Walgreens, two doors up.
Katie barred the door.
Let me get you that number there. You got an ink pen?
Now you've got those 24 hours.
No, so hold on.
A little bit more relaxed
because
we know that there's a really good chance that
okay, what's the number?
Won't actually be a positive. In some ways, I think it's a healthy scare for everybody, though. You know, unfortunately for me, it probably works best when I have to experience the sensation of,
I'm going to read it back. 248-618-0740.
How does that feel?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And
Bye-bye.
helps you not get comfortable or complacent. But, yeah, there's a certain amount of anxiety. You know, I think our guys and our staff are living right. But you know, even with that, it's pretty tough to be perfect.
It's Chris Fanini. Your microphone is open.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good, Chris. Good to hear from you.
How are you feeling about Preston at quarterback and what he's doing there?
I love Preston. Always have. You know, we quickly start getting into, you know, the X's and O's, but I've always started with the quarterbacks, and they've got to be winners and they've got to be leaders, and he is absolutely both of those things. And so it starts with that, and then, you know, we've got to be able to make great decisions and be smart, and then I always take, you know, accuracy, you know, over arm strength and whatnot. I think even guys with strong arms, you hope that they don't throw it as hard as they can every time. And, you know, he's got a lot of confidence. Just the one game that he did have last year, you know, he really produced and played well. The team believes in him. You know, I believe in him. At the same time, you know, he's played one game. And so, you know, we've got a new group of receivers for the most part and all of that. So we're, you know, we're getting better every day.
And final question before we wrap up. Matt Shepard. Matt, your microphone is open. I think you're muted, though.
Coach, good to see you again. You're calling your own plays this year. How have you been able to readjust to that role as not just head coach but OC?
That's a really good question. You know, getting better at that every day as well. Have a fantastic staff, and that's not just the coaching staff. I think a lot of people have had to step up in different ways as a result of that. We'll be doing it, you know, as a group, as a team. You know, it's not my style, you know, with the staff to, you know, tell everybody what to do. Got a lot of smart people, and I think, you know, my piece in it is just making sure everybody understands philosophically, you know, what we want to do and what we want to be able to do, and then, you know, often guys on the staff have, you know, better solutions, knowing what we're trying to get than I do, and so we're doing it together as a group. But yeah, I've done it for a long time. it was probably more awkward for me. The past 6 years not doing it, I just completely, turned it over, to Kalen in the beginning, and then to Aaron. Got a little bit more involved in the last couple of years when I felt as though our culture was in a good place. But it's different. I've certainly made my fair share of mistakes, and we've tried to get as much practice at actually calling it in unscripted situations as we can. But I think our staff is getting good at overcoming me, if that makes sense.
Coach, I want to kind of running over here a little bit, but no big deal there. I want to thank you for your time this morning, and best of luck next week against Kent State. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy.
Yep, take care.
Bye-bye.
Next, we'll go to Coach McElwain, Central Michigan Chippewas. Great.
Do a big screen.
Gotcha, Coach. Think we see you and hear you here. Hold on 1 second. All right. Coach McElwain, like I said just a minute ago, welcoming us now. Coach, just an opening statement on just how it feels to be getting ready for a football game on Wednesday.
Yeah, I never thought in my coaching career that I would actually look forward to a media day. Once we banged the one that we were going to have early, knowing that we possibly weren't going to play, and obviously now being able to do this and let our guys go out and play, I can't tell you how excited we are as a program, and really more than anything, just wanted to put out there that, I thought our league, our commissioner handled what we went through in an incredibly positive way. I think they were transparent. I really thought when we were talking about even coming back in and playing, their inclusion of players from every team in our league, having a chance to hear from our doctors, the medical staff, the commissioner himself, I really thought was excellent. And I really gained a lot from even that meeting, that Zoom call with all the other players in the league, and really the passion that our kids have for playing the game. And so my hat's off to our league and our commissioner for how they handled everything. And more than anything, looking forward to getting back after it. We're going to be, we're a little short from a number standpoint, as I'm sure a lot of people are. We chose early in the year when, they chose not to play and we're putting a spring schedule together. We sent the majority of our freshmen home and gray shirted them with the thought of getting them an extra year, with the thought of not having them just take classes online. Felt it was going to be good for us, and so we're short a few bodies, and yet that's okay. I think in the long run it's really going to help our program moving forward, and with that, what we've had to do is do a lot of cross training. There's going to be some times you're going to have some two-way players, and it's been really fun for our team, and we've had some really good practices, and look forward to getting going.
Okay. Casey Campbell, your microphone is open right now.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hey, Coach. Hey, Jim. How are you, buddy?
Good. Casey, what's happening, man?
Not too much. Just wish you could see the room that I'm in. It's all maroon and gold in here. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fire up then. How's that?
Yeah, my mom and brother went to Central, so
that's great.
To paint this up. But anyway, going from year one, the transition to year two, what has that transition period been like for you going into everything that you accomplished last year? How is it this year dealing with all that?
Sure. I think it's been really good. there's one thing, no matter what happens and no matter where it is for this season, we just got a great group of kids and a great group of guys. And now the kind of the understanding of the expectations, I think that's something that has been, for the guys that have been through it now for a year, kind of how we even just go about our daily business. They're a lot of fun to be around. It's guys that, and I think going through what everybody has gone through, I think the ups and downs of, we're not playing, we're playing, we might be playing, we're playing, all that kind of stuff. I was really proud of the way the leadership of this crew handled it. And but as far as the day-to-day piece, time will tell, see where we're at. But I really like where our team is, especially from kind of a mental standpoint and really an expectation standpoint.
Austin Chastain, your microphone is open.
What's up, Austin?
How much, Jim? How are you?
Good, bud.
Good. I think you know what I'm going to ask, but in terms of quarterbacks,
sure. I missed that one. So normally I get you off the front end on that, but obviously we still have not heard anything on David Moore. Still practicing, obviously. We're just kind of waiting for those, whatever might be the final report from the NCAA as far as moving forward. So still haven't gotten anything there. If not, we'll go ahead with D. Rich and Ty Brock. Going forward into the season and going forward to Wednesday. So still no update there. Right now, D. Rich would be the starter if we don't get any reports, and obviously Ty will play a big role in the game. It's one of the things that at all our positions, just where we're at from a numbers standpoint, it's actually been kind of fun as a coach, believe it or not, as far as, the challenge and to make sure that you're getting your best 11 on the field, no matter what position they came in at. So that part's been really kind of entertaining as a staff and as a coach.
Next, we'll hear from Chris Vanini. Chris, your microphone is open.
How you doing, Chris?
Hey, I'm good, Jim. How you doing?
Good, bud.
You guys had one of the better defenses in the conference last year. You have a lot of those starters back. How do you feel about that side of the ball?
It's a really good group that I thought did a great job of communicating and playing together. We've got some of those parts back, and I'm excited about that. We've got a lot of new faces in the back end, and yet I feel really good about those faces in the back end. Up front and really at linebacker, and I'm going to kind of say through the middle of the defense, we're a little thin on the D-line, and at the linebackers, we're going to be breaking in. MJ, our middle linebacker from a year ago, I thought did an outstanding job of doing what he needed to do, kind of guard to guard in there. And so shoring up that position is going to be a little different. And for us, even going into this first game, making sure that we, gap sound. I thought our defense did a really good job a year ago. For the most part, of at least having bodies in the right spots. And now we've got to really concentrate on trying to get some more takeaways and pressure in the quarterback. But, a good group and a fun group to be around. Like I said, I can't say that enough, with this team.
Next, we'll hear from Justin Rose. Justin, your microphone is open.
Coach, how you doing?
Hey, good, Justin.
Nice to see you. We're all accustomed to some midweek action during a regular season, but with you guys having such a precipice on playing more games during the week,
I mean, with baseball being done, hockey and basketball aren't starting up. I mean, how much of an opportunity is this for the MAC to really showcase itself when there's kind of a lack of other competition out there?
I think, even from the start of kind of MACtion, being able to put yourself out there, let the country see what a great conference this is, what great players it is. I had to kind of harken back to my days at Louisville when we were in Conference USA, and we actually kind of started playing every night of the week. In one of the years, I think we played every night of the week, actually, the way the season broke out. So, for me, it's been a while, and really leaning on some of the players as to how to handle the midweek piece itself. Because, for us, technically, today's a Sunday. As we kind of go through getting prepared, but I really think for our league, I think our league has done an outstanding job. And again, I can't say enough good things about the leadership and what they went through actually when we restarted the season, to make sure that we're going to be able to get some television eyeballs on what the MAC is all about. And I think that's really a good thing.
And we'll take one more question here from Jason Lewis. Jason, your microphone is open.
Hey, Jim, I hope you're doing well.
Doing great, bud.
Obviously, when you came in, you were coming off a one-win season. The team was coming off a one-win season. There wasn't that high of expectations last year. This year, you guys are picked to win the West. You're second to win the MAC. How different is it, and how much? What is the approach now being the hunted instead of the huntee?
You know what? I actually kind of like it from the standpoint, at least somebody, thinks you're relevant. That I think is a good thing. And yet, for us, it's an opportunity to go out and see what we've learned and see, who we are, opening up the way we are with an unbelievable team in Ohio, and what Coach Solich has done there. And that's going to be, as I kind of told our guys, there are no preseason games. The way this lays out, you're at it from the get-go, and you really don't get any do-overs. So I think it's important for us to understand, coming out and being sound from the get-go, and realize there is no really second chance. But as far as people recognizing that maybe we're doing some decent things, I think that's a good thing. And this is a place that has a great history and a great tradition. And I, what I hope happens over the long haul is, every year we're kind of in that discussion, because it means we're getting good players. It means the players come here to try to win and compete for championships. And that's all right. And yet, this team's a lot different than the team a year ago. So they've got to go out and make their own mark.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, want to thank you again for taking the time.